Hello everyone, I am Poonam Vohra. I welcome to each one of you to part 9 of our series, Overcoming the Challenges. In this session, we will focus on tackling graph-based questions, a key component of the CBSE Economics Exam. Graphs help visualize complex economic concepts. Today we'll discuss strategies to interpret, analyze, and draw graphs effectively, ensuring accuracy and clarity. So, by the end of the session, you will be equipped to handle graph-based questions confidently, maximizing your scores with well-labeled and precise visual representation. Graph-based questions assess your ability to interpret, analyze, and draw accurate diagrams, connect economic concepts to visuals, apply principles like elasticity, equilibrium, and so on, derive insights from data, and present information clearly with proper labeling and logical reasoning. So let's begin with our step-by-step guide to tackle graph-based questions. Step 1. Read the question carefully. Begin by reading the question thoroughly to understand what the graph represents and what is being asked. Identify key terms or concepts like equilibrium, excess demand, and so on. Step 2. Examine the graph. You need to identify the axis and understand what each axis represents, whether it is consumption, investment, income, and so on. For example, in determining the equilibrium income level and employment, the x-axis represents aggregate demand comprising consumption and investment, and y-axis represents income. Then, look for the key points. That is, check for intersections, slopes, shift, or labeled points on the graph. Example, identify where the aggregate demand and supply curve intersect for equilibrium. Step 3. Relate the graph to economic concepts. You need to relate the graph to the theoretical concept that it represents. For example, if it's an aggregate demand curve, recall that it represents the total demand in an economy at various price levels, comprising consumption and investment demand. That is, as the price level falls, aggregate demand increases due to higher consumption and investment. Step 4. Answer step by step. Step 1 is describe and analyze the graph. You begin by briefly describing what the graph represents. Let's take the example of savings and investment approach to explain equilibrium level of income. So once we have made the graph, you need to write, the graph illustrates the relationship between savings and investment, showing the equilibrium point where savings equal investment in an economy. And when you are analyzing it, you need to explain the specific features of the graph, such as intersection, slope, or changes, and relate them to the question. Continuing with this example, the intersection of savings curve and investment curve represents the equilibrium level of income. At this point, total savings in the economy match total investment, ensuring macroeconomic balance. Then you need to interpret the data if it is applicable. That is, in case numerical data is provided, then you need to use it to calculate or support your explanation. In the same example, continuing with it, suppose it's given that savings at 500 crores equal investment at 500 crores. What does it indicate? You need to write, this indicates that the economy is in equilibrium at that level of income. And then you need to label the graph properly. If the question requires drawing a graph, then ensure its proper labeling. Label the x-axis as income and y-axis as savings and investment in rupees. Then mark the equilibrium point where the savings and investment curves intersect and use arrows to indicate upward or downward shift if applicable. Step 5. Conclude with economic insights. You need to provide a final statement that ties your interpretation to the question's context. Continuing with the same example of savings investment approach, you need to write, equilibrium occurs when planned savings equal planned investment. At this point, the economy is in balance. This ensures that all resources are optimally utilized and there is no unintended change in inventories or economic disequilibrium. Properly labeled graphs and clear analysis can very effectively illustrate this relationship. Few tips. Focus on commonly used graphs like consumption, savings, and investment curves. Learn to draw accurate graphs with proper labeling. You must know the difference between shifts in movement, upward and downward slope, and so on. Include terms like equilibrium, surplus, shortage, opportunity cost in the explanation. Ensure that the explanation is concise. By following these steps, you can effectively interpret and answer graph-based questions. With this, the session gets over. Thank you for joining this session on tackling graph-based questions. Mastering graphs ensures you can clearly represent and interpret economic concepts, boosting your scores. In our next video, we'll dive into part 10 of the CBSE Economics Exams Preparation series, focusing on image-based questions. These questions require keen observation and the ability to connect visuals with economic concepts. Stay tuned as we guide you through strategies to analyze and answer them effectively. Let's continue preparing for success in your exams. Thank you. To learn more, visit our website and enroll in our courses to master the concepts in economics. You will find more than 300 lecture videos aligned with the latest recommendations of CBSE curriculum. And with our current introductory offer, you can enroll in each of the course for just rupees 999. So seize the opportunity and join before the introductory offer expires and score high grades in CBSE examination as well as in CUET entrance examination. Like, share and subscribe to Ecostudys channel. Also drop a comment. See you in the next session for another concept. Thank you.